The wealth of the nation is in the health of its people. Let's all take good care to be healthier so we can be more productive and prosperous. Hi there. Thanks for joining us for this edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm your host, Theodore Henry. Coming up in this half hour, we'll see new developments taking place at the Bostomante Hospital for Children. Plus, a glimpse of the work taking place on Highway 2000 from Maypen to Mandeville. These and more after this important message. Please stay with us.
It's absolutely critical that we receive the vaccines. You will see hospitalizations and indeed deaths likely come down. And so there is a lot of value to be gained by getting as many vulnerables on board as possible. So tell your mothers, tell your aunts, listen out for yourselves if you're over 60 and take the vax, because the vax is what will help you to guard against the COVID virus and indeed help your relatives, your friends, those who you come in contact with for the same benefit.
As we said at the top of the show, new developments are taking place at the Bostomante Hospital for Children. Let's see what those are and what it means for the health of the youngest among us.
The health of our children forms the foundation for their future well-being and that of the nation. So the Jamaican government is prioritizing both the preventative and curative approaches to pediatric and adolescent health care.
Which is why we address issues around sugary drink in schools, the physical activity program in schools.
To improve and expand curative services, billions of dollars are earmarked for a 10-year strategic plan for the renewal and rebuilding of public health.
We're looking at about 27.2 to 31.2 billion Jamaican dollars to build out our new public health infrastructure over the next 5 years.
The Bostomante Hospital for Children is the only specialist facility of its kind in the English-speaking Caribbean. Located on Arthur Wint Drive in Kingston, this hospital delivers diagnostic, curative, preventative, rehabilitative, and ambulatory services for patients from birth to 12 years old. The hospital has already been benefiting from service and infrastructure upgrades over the years, but in July 2021, a new master plan was unveiled to further its modernization.
The upgrades include the addition of pediatric cardiac ward, a parent overnight suite, medical ward, and we will also be adding diagnostic services block, the operating theater suite, accident and emergency building, and a specialist outpatient block. These developments are in keeping with our 10-year strategic plan for health and a recognition of the importance of addressing the needs of the full spectrum of age cohorts within the society.
Over the next 2 years, the National Housing Trust, National Health Fund, and the Southeast Regional Health Authority will partner to construct a 5-story building to house the hospital's new parents' overnight suite and wards.
While it is our mandate to deliver houses to our contributors, we are also committed to community development by improving important infrastructure that will contribute to the well-being of our contributors as well as the wider Jamaican society.
$120 million will be spent on Phase 1 of the project, which includes construction of the overnight suite. This will provide a space for parents to be close to their children receiving medical care. The 3 upper-level wards will be completed in Phase 2. Children attending the hospital will get to experience an environment that is aesthetically pleasing and therapeutic in nature.
The project was designed to enhance customer experience through the use of artwork and modernistic architectural concept. And from my part, I'm going to put on the makeup, which is the greenery surrounding it. I personally think we're also going to add some birds and animals to create home away from home kind of a look.
The hospital's development will also be enhanced by planning improvements to the roadway along Arthur Wint Drive. This will be widened to create 4 lanes with proper signalization and a possible overhead bridge with direct entry into the hospital. In the meantime, progress is taking shape as a new pharmacy was opened at the hospital in June 2021. It was constructed at a cost of $70 million courtesy of the National Health Fund. This new state-of-the-art pharmacy offers a spacious environment to serve its approximately 8,000 clients monthly. It is equipped with increased dispensing windows and a sterile room to protect the integrity of the prescription drugs. So with all this, staff, parents, and their children in a near future will be able to enjoy healthcare delivery and healing in a more convenient, safe, and caring environment.
The ministry remains committed to building the resilience of the sector through support in their bid to increase production.
The Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce was successful this past year in keeping the sectors afloat in order to recover stronger amidst the pandemic. Join us on Tuesday, January 18, right here on this station as we look back at the ministry's year in review.
The build-out of modern public infrastructure, including a safe and efficient highway, remains a priority of government. And the newest phase of the island's toll highway from Maypen to Mandeville is moving full speed ahead. More in this next feature. Transforming the landscape one leg at a time. Winding, wrapping, reaching, and hugging the contours of some of our highest points, this is Highway 2000.
Highway 2000 is a major infrastructure program for Jamaica that NROC oversees. We started out as far back as 1999, where we had phase 1. Initially, that ended at Sandy Bay. Then we added another phase called phase 1B, which ended at Maypen Roundabout. We were engaged also in phase 2, which started from Caymanas in St. Catherine and ended at Miami Bay in Ocherius. That is what we call phase 2A. Additional phases now includes phase 1C, which starts at Maypen Roundabout and ends at Williamsfield. There are other phases in the pipeline for the future, which will see what we call phase 2B, starting at Williamsfield and ending somewhere around in Montego Bay. And that is our long-term plan, as well as the linkages with the upcoming Montego Bay Perimeter Road, and then that would be our major Highway 2000 project. This part is $188 million for the construction of the highway. The project is being done with China Harbour and the government of Jamaica through the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation. And NROC is the implementing agency. So we engage the contractor on a daily basis as to the project's overall implementation. So we have all the necessary oversights for quality, safety, and construction management representing the government. And as such, our role is very specific to ensure that the construction is done on time, with quality, and within the budget. And our expectation is that our contractor will cooperate based on the contract arrangement to complete the project in the time specified, which is October 2022.
The project is a 3-year project. It started in 2019 and it will end in 2022, October. Currently, we're about 22% complete. We measure our completion by the amount of money expended, not by the amount of time that's elapsed. However, we've only paid the contractor about 20-something% worth of the monies. Now, most of the work he's done so far is moving fill. So we haven't gotten to the high value items, for instance. Now we're doing the bridges and so forth. There's a lot of concrete work. And so therefore, the value of the works are going to go up significantly.
The Rio Mina is one of the largest rivers in Jamaica, and it is very flood prone. So in fact, the bridge that we're building is actually the longest 4-lane bridge in Jamaica. It will be about 150 meters long. And so this is just a start of construction. So what you can see over my shoulder is the the work being done to install piles. So the bridge is actually on 5 piers, which are made out of pile structure, which is a circular concrete structure which goes down about 30 meters into the ground. And the piles will bring the bridge to the height of the old bridge. And in fact, the new bridge is actually much wider than the old bridge. So we expect that the new bridge will actually facilitate water flowing through. So the conditions that we had in about, when it was 1981, 86, when the approaches to the bridge was washed away, the approaches to the old bridge was washed away. We shouldn't have that conditions here because this new bridge will be wider than the old bridge.
We expect over the next few months to see an acceleration in the type of fill that happens as the contractor makes his way through the hills. We've pretty much established the embankment coming all the way from the start of project right here all the way up to the foothills of Manchester at St. Toulouse. As you drive through the project, you'll notice that we've put a significant amount of fill on the ground or embankment where we're starting to actually get the levels for the actual road to be built. So currently that's what we're working on. We're working on drainage structures. You'll see culverts, what we call, underpasses in the first instance. You'll see culverts, corrugated steel pipes, HDPE, so plastic pipes going in to convey water from the north to the south of the highway.
Safety is paramount for any construction projects. And for safety, the contractor has first strike, where all workers, all operatives on the site adhere to safety requirements. You'll see signs about safety rules and guidelines. For this project, you'll see guidelines both in Chinese and in English. Workers need to have what we call the PPEs, personal protective equipment. You have your helmet, you have your high visibility vest, and you have your hard boot. So that once you're on the site, you can avoid accidents because things do happen. On the environmental side, the project before you commence have to get an environmental permit. And that has a number of stipulations. We have several conditions which speaks to management of the environmental issues.
We do noise and air quality monitoring along the highway construction. As you had seen earlier, we showed you 2 pieces of equipment we use. The noise meter, which essentially measures the noise over a 24-hour period, catching the levels every second. And based on that, then we look at the averages and compare it with the NEPA standard. That standard is recognized day and night, and we look to see if we're exceeding it. And if that's the case, then what needs to be done to bring it back down so that the persons around will be comfortable. In terms of the dust, the particulate sampler, which we had also shown, dust comes in at the top on a little mushroom-looking thing that was on top of it, gets in on pre-weighed filters, and then that filter is taken back to the lab and weighed. The 24-hour reading is what we use to compare with the standard. The standard is 150 micrograms per cubic meter for 24 hour, which is the level. And we compare that with what's happening along the highway construction to see if there's any activity and if there's any elevation with the dust. If that's the case, then we'll recommend in terms of increased wetting and other mitigative actions.
But as you move beyond the Milk River, we are in very hilly terrain with limestone. So in order to excavate the rock, blasting is invariably required. For blasting to take place, the contractor has the responsibility of obtaining a license from the Department of Mines and Geology in order to undertake blasting activity. In Jamaica, a blast on this highway has a limit of what we call 25 ground acceleration motion, 25 millimeters per second. which is the limit, which if you exceed that, then the blast is not safe, and you can have damages to structures.
Quality control is a very important aspect for us on the highway. We have a very, very rigid quality assurance process. The contractor is expected to be certified both to AASHTO as well as to ISO for his works. What we do on the NROC side, with the assistance of our consultants, is to do the quality assurance. So the random checks to ensure that what the contractor is saying he has put in his quality plan is actually what he's doing.
So as part of CHEC's quality management system, it is imperative that we test the compaction for each layer of fill that is applied. We are testing at approximately 3,000 square meters, right? And we do our testing randomly. So what he did was, our technician, he bored the hole and then put the nuclear gauge inside it and the machine will demonstrate the percentage compaction. What we are looking for are readings above 95%, and I think he got far more than 95% there.
The communities are very integral in the project implementation because the highway goes through all these communities and we're impacting them. One of the things that has happened in the porous reefswood areas is that some areas have no potable water, and as such we partner with the community, the local representatives, the contractor China Harbour to provide what we call black tanks, right? So that, and they're communal tanks. So these are placed along the roadside in the community, and water is provided from the contractor side every other week or twice a month, so that persons who don't have access to running potable water can come and access water from these tanks.
The primary thing that we'll see persons benefiting from is a travel time of approximately 40 minutes from Kingston to Mandeville. So I think that perhaps is maybe the most important thing that persons will see. We expect at the same time for the development to open up new developments, new areas, housing, business, etc.
The National Road Operating and Constructing Company, NROC, along with key stakeholders, are working tirelessly to unlock opportunities and create possibilities for government, businesses, families, people. You, me, us. A symbol of economic growth, extending logistical opportunities and taking spirited strides to improve on travel. A journey made possible by the National Road Operating and Constructing Company. Its length and breadth, its reach, its span. This is Highway 2000.
What a way you're full of our roots and culture. That was in Jamaica 60. Jamaica 60? What a piece of news, Miss Matty. I feel like my heart going bust up.
Just in, the island of Jamaica is on the verge of celebrating its 60th year of independence.
I only well for celebrating it. They say the people them come here, you know. But you see, when our people decide, say the other people them free paper, burn them say if it's war, start it, whatever. We all collect medal panta fight, you know. Medal. Amount of tongue we give them,
The celebrations are slated to begin on January 1st, 2022. Organized by the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport. We have more in this report.
I am on site and planning activities are ablaze. Persons are advised to download the Reggae Jamaica app to know what it activities for the Jamaica 60 celebration.
Yeah, I don't know the app to get the updates then.
We continue to follow the road to development, only this time we're taking the path to personal growth and positive change with the Citizen Security and Justice Program. It's working to treat the negative issues affecting at-risk youth.
I'm Jay.
Yo, I'm Jay, look at it. Long time in the see you.
Real, man.
Where you come from, look, sir?
I tell you, one training institution I come from in a charge.
Training institution?
Yeah, man.
I just left jail.
I tell you, it's a long story in my jail. Yeah. But I'm willing to tell you, how I start the CSJP program, Citizen and Security Justice Program. You know.
Since 2001, the Citizen Security and Justice Program, CSJP, has been transforming lives. The organization adopted a fresh approach to crime prevention in 2016 that has impacted the lives of over 2,900 youth at risk. Here's one young man's transformational journey with CSJP's case management approach.
I want to say the police will have my case, send me to somebody down in CSJP there, brother.
The case management approach starts with a referral.
The person could be referred to CSJP by another organization or even an individual.
Referrals may come from a variety of sources, including justices of the peace, non-governmental organizations, judges, police, or correctional officers. The CSJP conducts screening for 13 risk factors before accepting clients into the program.
I just started the program, Bridget. I meet with somebody will ask me a whole heap of questions.
So, Jerome, where do you live?
I'm on and off translating, I say so.
Do you have any matter before the court currently?
Not at the moment, miss.
What about smoking? How many spliffs do you smoke per day?
Well, depending on my mood, miss, I'll smoke like 6 to 10 spliffs per day. Miss.
Okay.
They do the screening to ensure that all persons meet the program's criteria.
If the person passes a certain level in the screening, then they go on to detailed risk assessment.
During the risk assessment process, they ask questions from different areas or domains to determine a person's vulnerability to violence.
One of the things that you mentioned was a 6 to 10 spliff that you smoke per day. We need to reduce that.
Okay.
Right? In terms of your conflicts, how you resolve that? Do you think you have an anger issue, a temper?
Well, yes, miss.
We do not only look at what may be seen as a negative aspect of the person's life. We also look at the positive aspect. We look at what we call the protective factors. What are these things that have been keeping a young man, keeping a young woman going? And we use those in a treatment plan. On the completion of the risk assessment, the person is determined to be a low risk, high risk, or medium risk.
Individuals deemed as a medium or high risk if left alone without treatment could become involved in violence, and so those persons would be engaged in the treatment plan.
Jerome, you did well. Based on this discussion now, what we're going to do is the case plan. What is the case plan? The case plan is a list of areas. Based on the discussion, we are going to identify areas that we are going to treat with. What is your preferred skill area? What do you see yourself doing in this program?
Foods and preparation.
So our first step is to ensure that you do the hard entrance test.
Educational opportunities were just one service offered in the case plan. Depending on the identified needs, other treatments may have included psychological services and counseling and substance abuse therapy. The treatment could also include pre-vocational training to boost numeracy and literacy skills and improve their chances of qualifying for a vocational skills training program.
It's a nice program, man, and them offer you good sessions.
What kind of sessions?
Sessions, man, like if you have an anger problem, them try to lower it. If you have a smoking problem, them try to get up on a level where you can either smoke one or none at all.
The program does sound good.
And it was. Clients not only left the program less prone to violence, but with a skill, equipped with anger management and sobriety tools, and better positioned to make positive contributions to their communities and society on a whole. The CSJP's case management approach, a purposive way of transforming lives through social intervention, a methodology worth emulating by other entities seeking to develop the nation's youth and build a safer Jamaica.
It's Earthquake Awareness Month, and before we wrap up this half-hour journey, here's a glimpse back into the past through stories following the aftermath of the 1692 earthquake. It's a lesson in nature's unpredictability and the need for us to always be prepared.
It's been over 300 years, and the marks of the 1692 earthquake still linger on the city it struck the hardest. Port Royal was one of the busiest and wealthiest ports of the West Indies and infamously labeled the wickedest city of the period, owing to its reputation for piracy and smuggling. But when 1692's powerful quake struck the area, it submerged most of Port Royal under 40 feet of water. There were 3 separate shocks with increasing intensity, and that's the story that many know. But the wrath of the earthquake spread far beyond that city, even onto a place called Judgment Cliff in St. Thomas. The cliff is seated in the Landaway community, and if you look closely, you'll notice that a section of it is completely gone. Judgment Cliff got its name from the story of how an entire community was wiped out during the 1692 earthquake. That story has passed down through generations in the community, and it's one residents readily recount to curious visitors.
The Judgment Cliff, I was informed that they used to have a plantation up there run by a serious, wicked slave master. Imposed draconian measures on the farmers, and one of the reasons why they resided on the cliff, that in case the slave wanted to run away, they would have difficulty in doing so. The place collapsed. I guess during the same time Port Royal earthquake was taking place. That was 1692.
Them say when it happens at night, well, what I really know is they say a man, a rooster, and a bull save. The man gone out, gone wild. The rooster fly off of the roost. The bull broke down the pen, gone out, gone wild, same like the man. Understand? It was a plantation to people who lived there too. Everybody get covered out.
It's a history long written, but Judgment Cliff stands as just one example of the aftermath of an earthquake. And as scientists warn of the possibilities of an increase in earthquakes globally, it's a history that could easily be repeated.
In the Caribbean, we can say we had our fair share of seismic activities. Research has shown that Jamaica is usually exposed to about 200 earthquakes per year, most of which are small and may not be felt by humans. Despite achievements in seismology, it is still not possible in the true sense to predict the occurrence of an earthquake.
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade wishes to advise the public that on Wednesday, January 19 and Thursday, January 20, office hours for consular and other services will be from 12 noon to 2 p.m. This is to facilitate activities connected to the official opening of the ministry's new headquarters. Regular hours of operation will resume on Friday, January 21. And this is where we close today's Jamaica Magazine. Thank you for your company. Be sure to join us again tomorrow for another show, but until then, keep watching this and other Jamaica Magazine programs on the JIS's YouTube channel. Visit our website, jis.gov.jm, and find us on all the major social media platforms and through our mobile app that's both Android and iOS compatible. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Theodore Henry, reminding you to protect yourself and others against COVID-19, get vaccinated, and maintain good hygiene practices. Wear your mask in the presence of others, and stay safe.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.